Hey, good morning everyone. My name is Vipin Kumar and I am ready with another video on the Logstash. And this is the second part of my series on ELK, mastering in ELK. And in this video, we are going to install and configure the Logstash, a centralized log management server. Along with, we are going to install and configure the Filebeat agent on the remote servers. So let's begin. So I am not spending so much time on the introduction part. So Logstash is an open source centralized log management service or server. It accepts all kind of the logs from the remote machines or servers and do some manipulation before sending to Elasticsearch or Kibana for the further processing. So I'm going to install the Logstash on the CentOS machine. So the primary requirement for the Logstash is a JDK. So I'm using the Open JDK, and this is my CentOS machine. I'm going to configure the centralized log management service or system on this machine. Okay, we are done with the JDK. We can verify. Yes, we have the JDK installed 1.8.0 on this machine. So now we are going to download the Logstash RPM, and for that we required wget utility. So I'm going to install the wget utility on this machine. Okay, so I'm downloading the Logstash RPM on my on the OPT location. So you can go ahead and download the RPM from this location. Downloading the RPM is going to take some time, depends on your internet connectivity. Okay, we have successfully downloaded the RPM. Now we are going to install the RPM. Okay, so now Logstash successfully installed on this machine, and we can verify uh, by passing a simple input and expecting a simple output. So let's go ahead and let's go into the Logstash home directory. This is the home directory of the Logstash, that is user share and Logstash, and we can verify the installation or configuration of the Logstash by supplying a simple output, and you know uh, and the Logstash will show a output on the same screen. So this command is validating our Logstash uh, installation. So at this moment, the default pipeline uh, activated, and if I gave the input, it is showing the output in this way. So basically, what it did tested, it was expecting a input from the keyboard, and it showed the output on the screen. So at this moment, we can say our Logstash service successfully configured on this machine. And if you come out from the pipeline mode of the Logstash, go ahead and type command Control D, and I am out from the Logstash pipeline. So at this point, we have successfully configured the low stacks, and we can manage the log stacks log stacks with via the service mode. So we can verify what is the current status of the log stacks on our server. So at this moment, it is a dead. We can start by supplying this command, and we can verify. Okay, so now locust test running on this machine, and we can manage via service. Okay, so now next part we are going to set up the file beat agent on the remote machines. So before installing the file beat on the remote machine, I want to take your 1 cent. So basically, how does the locust test work? So basically, locust test expecting a three parameters input and filter and output. For example, if you have a three-tier application that is running on the Apache web server and Tomcat app servers and MySQL database servers, and if you want to send or if you want to set up the monitors and send logs from the app, web, and database to the locust test, then then you have to create uh, uh, you have to install the FileBeat agent on all three servers, so that web, app, and database can send logs to the log stack. So let's begin the FileBeat agent installation. So I'm going to install the FileBeat agent on my Apache machine. So this is my Apache machine. Filebeat basically works on all the OS. If you want to monitor the Windows system logs and event logs and even IS logs, you can install the Filebeat. Filebeat Filebeat uh, uh, on the Windows machine also. So I'm going to download the file beat, RPM. You can download the RPM from the internet. This is the RPM file location or RPM download location. You can download from this location. Okay, so RPM file beat RPM successfully downloaded. Next steps to install it. Okay, it's done. Now basically this is my Apache machine, but I don't have fully Apache logs. But you can go ahead and download the sample Apache file if you don't have a live or a good amount Apache log for the further demonstration. So you can go ahead and download the Apache logs from this location. Okay, now you can see here I have downloaded a logstash tutorial.log file, but this is nothing but Apache log files, and we are going to use this log file for the further communication, further demonstration. So now next step is going to be configure the file beat. agent on this server, on the Apache server. For that, for that, for that we require to edit the filebeat.yaml file, and we have to change a couple of these settings. First setting we have to change. This is for the prospector configuration from false to true. And now we have to give the path of the logs which you want to monitor or send to the log stack centralized location for the further processing. And since I have downloaded Apache log file in the opt location, so I'm going to use the sample file path for the for the analysis. So this is the location where I have downloaded Apache log file. Okay, and if you want to monitor multiple files or multiple log files, so what you can do, you can give the path of a directory or folder. And if or you can specify the log files per line. But I'm going to monitor only sample Apache log file for now. And you know and also you can see here, this is the example example for the Windows environment. If you are monitoring your IS logs or event logs, you can give the path in such way. So once you completed with the log path, the next part, you have to configure for the output. So here you can see the output in two sections. First section is Elasticsearch, and second output section for Logstash. So it means that you can send the logs directly to the Elasticsearch, or you can send logs to the Logstash first, and the Logstash will send to the Elasticsearch. In our example, we are going to send our logs to the log stack. So we need to disable the Elasticsearch output. So we can make a comment, and we have to make uncomment this, and we have to uncomment host, and we have to give the IP address or server information where our log stats are located. Log stats service are there. If I This is my log stats server. So this is the IP address of this machine. Okay, now control and save it. So at this moment we have configured the Filebeat agent on our Apache machine or remote machine. Now we have to configure the Filebeat on the Logstash server. So let's go there and clear it. And for that we have to create a sample or simple config file for the accepting logs from the remote machines. So we can, we are going to create a first pipeline.config file under the configuration folder. And we are going to configure with this source code. So what we are trying to define here, please accept all the logs that is coming on that is coming, or that's are coming on port 5044, and uh, don't do anything with the filter options, and the output don't send anywhere. So this is the file telling the log stats do exactly what I'm telling. So go ahead and save it. So let's verify our configuration setting, how this looks like. So let's go inside of the Logstash home directory, and this is the home directory of the Logstash on this machine. Okay, and let's verify let's verify the first pipeline.config file. How does looks like? So basically, Logstash is looking the first pipeline.config file. It is looking line by line, and verifying that is there any syntax problem, or everything is okay. If everything is okay, then we are getting a message that syntax and everything is okay for the validation. So at this moment, you can see here the validation successfully completed, and let's start the log stats log stats uh, in the command line. But uh, before starting the log stats in the command in the command line mode, let stop the service first. Please follow the exact you know exact steps, otherwise you will encounter error. So let's verify the service, it is running. Let's stop it before starting in a command line. And we can see status, it is down. Now let's start the service from the command line. Okay, at this moment, the log stack is ready to accept the logs from the remote machine on the port 5044. Yes. At this moment, we don't see any logs are coming in this machine, because Filebeat service is down here. We need to start a Filebeat service on this machine, so that this machine can send the Apache logs to the Logstash Logstash centralized location. So let's start the Filebeat in the command line mode. Before starting, or before supplying this command, let's go inside of Filebeat home directory. So it is there, var, sorry, that user share file beat, and then cd bin. So at this moment, you can see here the logs are getting loaded in the file beat for the Apache logs, and this is the Apache logs we gave the path inside of the file beat.xml file. So let's verify if this command, if these logs has been successfully transferred to the centralized location. So at this moment, we can see the outcome is loading. It means that Logstash successfully accepted all the logs from the Apache web server. and uh, and in this moment we can say everything is looks great. We successfully able to able to load logs in the Filebeat, Filebeat in the Apache web server, and in the Logstash servers. The Logstash server is accepting logs from the remote machine. So let's come out from the pipeline mode, press Ctrl D, and let's get out from here also. So at this moment, it is a basic configuration. We did it. For example, if you look at you know if you look at this file, we just define the input value, but no value for the filter, or no value for output. So so if you look at the Apache logs, like okay, if you look at the Apache logs, so the Apache logs are, the Apache logs has so many values, but these values are not categorized or gathered in a standard format, and it might be possible that there are heavy large log file in your environment, and you are interested only on a few fields. You are not interested to send out all the data field of the logs to the Elasticsearch, or you just want to be interested only on looking only one data type, like client IP, and you have other data type around 40 to 50 data type is there, and you are interested only with one data type. So you can use the filter options to filter your logs and send your desired data to the Elasticsearch. And sometimes your requirement is that, like you are more interested to managing the logs in such way so that it can be readable in a human language. Like you want to be see the client IP first, then all the data in the combined format. So for that, the elastic community introduce a couple of plugins, and one of the plugins is called it is called Grok. And with the Grok plugins, you can make regular expression kind of filtering, and it works very well with all the major components like Apache Tomcat, Exchange, or Node.js, or everything. So you can look at more insight about Grok expression, or uh, you can create your pattern. And there are a couple of the you can use the grok debugger. By using this steps, you can use grok debugger to create your pattern for the filtering. But I'm using a default, or uh, customize the grok expression. It is called combined Apache logs. The second example, I'm going to add one more features, is called filtering by using the graph. So go back on the logstack server, and open the first pipeline.config file, and edit it. Okay, so we are here. we are just we are just added the filter options, and I'm using now grok uh, plugins for the regular expression for the filtering perspective. So I'm using the combined Apache logs. So basically combined Apache logs rearranging the uh, uh, data field of the logs. So it is coming with the IP address first, and it is combining all the other fields in the human readable human format. So just go ahead and save it. You have to perform few things also. So at this moment you have to stop the log stack, so it is down already, and go into the file beat, and you have to start the file beat. So first verify the status of the service. It is already down, file beat, and just look at the just look at the path. These are important path. This is a very important path I want to show you. So we are more interested, this is the log path. I'm not interested at this moment. Data path, I'm interested more over data path. So basically the data path is storing all the logs into the registry, and if we want to resend the logs from the scratch, then we have to delete the registry, and we have to start the file bit agent once again. So if you go inside this folder, if you see, there is a registry and meta.json file. So basically registry is keeping all the records and information about the logs that has been monitored and forwarded to the log stack centralized location system. Since we modify the pipeline in the log stack and log stack service or server, and now we require to resend all the logs once again to the centralized machine from the scratch. And since there is no update, or there is no updates are getting happening in my Apache log file, so in that case I have to delete the last location or last value of the files that has been stored in the registry. And once you deleted the registry, or you move somewhere else and start a filebit agent, the filebit agent will start to send logs from the scratch to the log stack centralized location. So let's verify here. So at this moment we can see the output of this command. Okay, there is no outcome because we haven't restarted a file beat from here after removing the registry. So first go ahead and remove the registry. Here you go. Status. Okay, so you can see here we successfully able to uh, collect data now from the Apache remote machines with the with the uh, with the grok regular expression. So here you can see here, you know the IP address. uh, Look at here, this is what we modified. So with the regular expression of the grok, we mentioned that the IP address coming the first, and Rest of the things are going to be combined in the message field. So we have successfully demonstrated how to make a filtering on the logs before sending to the Elasticsearch or Kibana. So let's get out from the pipeline mode, and now let's do a final roundup from to the final roundup to configure the output to the Elasticsearch search machine. For now, we have to stop Logstash. It is already down. We have to stop the Filebeat. It is started, so stop it. This is the very important part. If you restart the Filebeat from the command line, the data folder is going to be created in the location. It is called in the location is this is the location where data folder is going to be created. So if very important part, if you start your Filebeat agent via a command line or with a config file, then your data folder going to be created under the home directory. So the path will be user share Filebeat bin and data. If you start and stop the Filebeat service as a service command, then your path will be changed from user share Filebeat data. It become now cd var lib and data. Sorry, Filebeat. Now if you modify the if you modify the Filebeat pipeline, then you have to delete the registry from this location and start the Filebeat has a service, and after that you will be able to see changes in the Logstash environment. So let's do it out. It is going to looks like. So at this moment, Logstash is down, and we have to modify the pipeline config file. This is the config file, and at this moment, we configured the input file, we configured the filter options, and now we are going to configure the output file. So look at here. I gave the we discuss about the input side, we discuss about the filter side, and now what I'm saying that I'm going to be send the log file after manipulation into the filter options, and I'm going to send my data to the Elasticsearch environment, and my Elasticsearch environment are located on 192.168.2.150.190.9220. So this is the logs. This is the location where my data is located, and now save it. So now we have to go and do similar exercise. First, we have to remove the registry app, confirm. Now we have to start the Filebeat has a service status. Everything is fine. Now start it. Okay. Now we have to start the Logstash service as a service here. Okay. It is running now. So now we are we are moving or we are transferring our logs to the log stack. So let's verify it is there or not. As I mentioned that my elastic search server is running in this way. So I can confirm that index like this way, how many index are running. So at this moment you can see one index already created on the elastic search environment, and this is for the today's date. This is today's date. So right now I am on the Elasticsearch machine, and I am just listing all the index on this machine. Since we just started to sending only today's data to the Elasticsearch machine. So it created a default index for the data that is coming from the long environment, and it created a log stack index in this naming conversion. So we can see it is successfully created, and we can see data is coming on this machine. We can verify on the browser also. Yes. So we can see on the browser also. So next command, we can run some of the query on today's data. Okay. So change the settings, change the current date information, or index, or I can say index name on which you want to run a query. So whatever the index you are selecting or creating by default, or you are creating a custom index, just give the index name on which you want to run a query. So this is my index name, logstack, uh, today's date, and I want to run query. That means I want to search the response type 200. So I can say these are 200 response data that is coming from the logs. So I can run the I can test the similar query on my browser also. So you can see here all the index are coming. This is the data that is coming from the logs, the message, and it is throwing all the throwing all the data that is response type 200. So here you can see here all the response type 200 that contains all the logs are coming here. So so at this moment, I can confirm that our structure is working fine. We can see the logs are coming from remote machine to the log stack. Log stack do some modification into the filter field and send back to the Elasticsearch machine. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and learn log stack centralized log system. And in upcoming module, we are going to complete our Kibana configuration and integration. We are going to manipulate so many logs from the Apache servers, Tomcat servers, and MySQL servers, and then we are going to play around these logs into the Kibana. So thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. Thank you.